There are many deceased cases of civilians from which we can find women and children. Do you think that international organizations that take care of human rights and children's safety offer the right help of these people?
You know, one of the great tragedies of the Syrian crisis is that so many civilians are being caught up in the conflict, including the aid workers who are trying to provide assistance to the women and children, which is why the United States has called repeatedly on all sides of the conflict to respect the human rights of women and children and ensure that there's full access for humanitarian assistance to reach those in need. It's absolutely essential.
You as a group work for the protection of civilians and lead conflict areas to become more stable. What are the steps that you propose in order to provide fundamental services that are sustained from the Syrian lands?
So, you know, the Syrian crisis has really now become a regional crisis that's affecting both people inside Syria, Syrians in the neighboring countries, and those communities as well. In his Eid address, President Obama just announced additional funding that brings the United States contribution to over $1 billion. And with that assistance, we are reaching both inside and outside of Syria and working on provision of assistance from food, water, shelter, and also looking at how we can improve protection, particularly of women and children.
Syrian immigrants reach more than millions and they are in need of food and medical care. What did the Office of Peace provide of them?
So AID has an office called Food for Peace that is the leading donor right now to World Food Program. But we're also providing assistance for food through a variety of NGOs. And provision of food is something that is a fundamental necessity for people. Some of the programs that we're doing include reaching directly to bakeries throughout Syria so that they can operate. Daily bread is one of the most important things for families to continue feeding their children. So we are prioritizing this as a part of our $1 billion of assistance, both inside Syria and outside Syria. We have worked a lot to provide vouchers for the refugees in both Turkey and Jordan, so that families can take these vouchers to the local markets to buy the food that they want. And this is both good for the families because they can buy and prepare the food that they want, and it's also good for the local businesses because it provides business for those markets and small businesses.
A whole generation was held back from education because of the dreadful situation the Syrian people are living. What are you doing to compensate for what they missed?
You know, it is one of the tragedies of conflict that children are impacted for the rest of their lives, and in some instances, children inside Syria have been out of school for almost 2 years now. And the especially difficult and abhorrent reality is that sometimes schools are targeted as a part of the conflict. So we are, where we can, providing assistance to refurbish schools, but have to do so without ensuring that they become another target. Outside of Syria, we're working closely in Jordan, for example, to refurbish schools, expand and build new schools so that both children in Jordan, but also the Syrian refugee children, have access to an education. This is absolutely critical. It will have an impact on children for the rest of their lives.
What is the nature of problems that you are facing in your work, especially on conflict areas of on Syrian lands?
The Syrian humanitarian crisis is one of the worst in the world. It has challenges for access. It has challenges for the security of humanitarian aid workers, and it is one of the largest crises in terms of financial needs. President Obama recently announced additional funding, so we have now provided $1 billion of humanitarian assistance. And we know this isn't enough. We are working with the international community and calling on everybody to mobilize to provide as much assistance as possible. We are committed to remaining very involved in doing all that we can. And there needs to be access and security for the humanitarian workers. Unfortunately, one of the real tragedies in this crisis is that medical workers, doctors, nurses are being targeted. So we are calling on all parties of the conflict to respect the need for humanitarian assistance, especially for women and children in this crisis.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.